I found this graph of yours,
Oh God, yeah.
and I think for any founder starting a business, it's important for them to understand this cycle. I think you call it like the crash burn cycle or something. Because if you're not aware of this cycle, when you hit certain parts of it, you're probably going to think that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But there's a certain inevitability to this crash cycle. I'll put it on the screen for anyone to see.
Yeah.
But-
This is the entrepreneur life cycle until you learn how to break free from it. And so there are 6 stages. You have stage 1, which is uninformed optimism. This is where you see your friend or you see something online and it looks like they're making money or it looks like there's some opportunity and you think, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And you have optimism because it looks great, but it's uninformed because you have no idea what it entails. So then you dive in and you say, okay, I'm gonna pursue this thing, whatever it is, baking cupcakes, or I'm gonna do lawn mowing, or I'm gonna do crypto
Content
trading,
creation, yeah.
whatever. Second step is you get into it and you're like, oh my God, I don't know. There's so many things involved in this and this is significantly more complicated than I expected. So then you become an informed pessimist. You now know that it's hard or significantly harder than you expected. The third stage is you have your crisis of meaning or the valley of despair. So you're continuing to do this stuff, it's continuing to not work, and you keep working, and it keeps not working. And so this is the step, and this is the point of truth. And this is the cycle where the paths of the entrepreneur split. And the vast majority of people take this next step, which is they then say, you know what? There's that thing over there that my other friend's doing, maybe I should do that instead. And so then they hop back to uninformed optimism, and then they go boom to informed pessimism, and they just go around and around and around, and they live the same 6 months for 20 straight years. Now, the other path from the valley of despair is sticking with it. And so then you become an informed optimist, because now you understand, you still understood all the bad stuff, but you also understand the good stuff and how to avoid the bad and maximize the good. And then once you're there, you stick on that path long enough and you end up achieving what you originally thought was really easy and fast. And so that cycle, this is more or less the Alex Hormozi life story,
Yeah.
which is why I can so intimately describe each of the steps, is that I call that loop and that the person on the other side, the woman in the red dress, which is probably my favorite part of the Matrix movie, which is Neo, who's the main character, is in a program to teach him one thing. And so he's walking through the crowded streets of what looks like a New York City with Morpheus leading him. And he's droning on about something that he's supposed to learn. And he says,
Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress?
and Neo was looking at the woman in the red dress as Morpheus is talking. And then he says,
Look again. Freeze it.
and in that moment, he's like, freeze. And he explains that
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
Sentient programs.
And so what appears to be the woman in the red dress is actually an agent from the system meant to destroy the opportunity that you're in right now. And so I love the woman in the red dress so much because it's so real. Because you're in this thing, you're in this relationship with your business, and you're like, this girl seems great. And then you get to know her and you find out she snores when she sleeps, and all of a sudden it's like, you see the sweatpants and no makeup in the morning, and you realize that sometimes she's moody, whatever. But you start to get to know. You're like, I don't know if we're gonna get married, but this is kind of where we're at. And then you see a woman in the red dress, and you're like, you know what? I think that's the girl. And so you quit this relationship with your business and you get into that relationship. But then you realize that girl has crabs, she has a crazy ex-boyfriend, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to deal with any of this stuff.